Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel and to my knitting podcast. My name is Jessica McDonald and I'm a knitwear designer, and I am coming to you from a tiny town in the mountains of Idaho. Today is September 20th. September 20th is today. It's a Monday, and yeah, it's a lovely fall day. The window is just here. I'm a little bit bright if I lean towards it, but I'm looking down into the river. So the Big Lost River flows past our house, and if I look right down here, I can see down into the river bottom, which is full of a whole bunch of cottonwoods and some willows, and they're all turning gold. They're probably about half gold now, half gold, half green. So we're well into our fall colors here in Idaho. So it's beautiful. I've got the window open. It's a lovely day outside. It's sunny. Last night we had our first really hard freeze. It's frozen a few times since the beginning of September, but last night was our first really hard freeze. So yesterday I was in the garden for quite some time, just picking everything. A bunch of tomatoes, brought in all the pumpkins, all the onions that were curing. I picked all my winter squash, even though it really hadn't finished growing yet. My winter squash was pretty poor this year. I have little tiny, like, palm-sized butternut squashes. Anyway, the garden is basically done for the year, except I have some winter stuff, some greens like spinach and lettuce and carrots. I also have some broccoli and cauliflower, but they're being eaten up by cabbage worms, so I don't know if they'll do anything. But yeah, that's basically it for the garden this year. Just have to clean it out now, which I'll just do very slowly because I have no desire to hurry up and do that. My mudroom is just piled high with everything I picked yesterday. I've got a huge pile of pumpkins. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen my wagon load of pumpkins that I have to find somewhere to put away. They did really well this year, so that's kind of nice. I'm going to be eating pumpkins for the next 4 months. I have to eat lots of pumpkins. If you want to find me on Instagram, I should tell you where you can find me. If you want to find me on Instagram, I am Jessica M Knits. On Ravelry, I am also Jessica M Knits. And you can find my website, which has my patterns for sale, and my blog at www.jessicamcdonald.com. And you can also sign up for my newsletter. I have an email newsletter where I tell people about new pattern releases and basically nothing else. I do occasionally send another email, but usually it's just when I release patterns. And I will put links to all of those things in the description box down below this video, so you can go check me out in other places and sign up for my newsletter. If you like my designs, the best place for you to be is on my newsletter, because you will get the best discount and you will always be the first person to hear about any new releases. So now that we've got that over with, let me talk to you about my finished objects. I've got 2 FOs and both of them are for me. So you can see I'm wearing the first one. This is the Wildhorse cardigan. It is a top-down raglan sleeve shawl collar cardigan. It's knit in Knotty Pine Fiber Co, Laramie Range worsted, in the color Whiskey River. It's a beautiful, warm rust. It's kind of an orangish rust instead of a brownish rust. But anyway, it's a lovely color. Everybody who ever sees it in real life is always commenting about how beautiful the color is, and it really truly is beautiful. Kayla, she's the dyer of this yarn. She is test knitting this cardigan for me, and she's using this same yarn, but she dyed up a new colorway for it called Harvest, which is a really nice golden brownish yellow. Oh, I'm getting really bright. Hang on. Perhaps that's better. Close the blind a little bit. Now maybe I don't look so blown out. Anyway, so this is the Wildhorse cardigan, which it's a really simple cardigan with just a few really perfect, simple, squishy details. So you can see on the raglan line here, let me turn it a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Along all of the raglan lines, I've done a column of garter stitch. And there's garter rib on the cuffs. I've been wearing this already. It's so cozy. And also, sorry, the chair's noisy. Also on the hem, there's more garter rib, and then it's got this giant shawl collar. There's no waist shaping or anything. It's quite simple. But there's this giant, absolutely amazing shawl collar. If you've watched my previous episodes of my podcast, you'll have seen the whole progress of this collar, where I had originally made it about half as deep as it is now, and then decided that wasn't enough for me because I do get a little bit crazy about my shawl collars. So I ripped it all out and reknit it, and oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Look at it. Just look at it, and you can just cozy into it on a cold day. It's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. I am so glad I ripped it out and made it bigger. Doesn't it look amazing? So nice. So to do the collar, it uses German short rows back and forth, because you can see the collar, this part is wider, and then there are short rows along here to make the back part of the collar deeper than the front. I had some people tell me that they've done German short rows in a collar before, and they didn't like it. It was kind of too fussy. But let me assure you that this is actually very easy. I do need to record a tutorial on how to do German short rows, and I'm planning to do that before I release this pattern. But it's very easy, especially because it's garter stitch. So you're just knitting every single row, so the short rows just disappear. Your turns are, all the turns are right along here, and they just completely disappear. They're just gone. And it's so easy and simple. So if you're somebody who has never before successfully knit a shawl collar with short rows, give this one a try when it comes out, because it's gonna be easy. It's gonna be really easy. I'm gonna record a tutorial. It's gonna be fantastic, and you're gonna love it. Also, another thing is, I had a lot of people tell me that they really liked the smaller collar size, so I included instructions for the smaller collar size in the pattern as well, in case you wanted to make the smaller size instead of the enormous, absolutely incredible size. I just love this. Doesn't it look so good? So cuddly. This yarn, by the way, this yarn is perfect for this design. It's really soft and squishy, and it's just got that right squish for this big garter stitch color. It's just got the right amount of squish for it. It's so nice, so nice. So this is FO number 1, the Wildhorse cardigan, which will be released in November. November 1st, apparently. I have my, this bulletin board right here with all the index cards on it is where I keep track of all my different designs and where they are in their process. I know a lot of people use digital project management tools, but I'm kind of a old school person, and I just like to have them all on my bulletin board written out where I can easily see them. So yeah, I'm planning to release this one on November 1st. Sign up for my newsletter. That's about all I have to say. The link is in the description box below. You should sign up for my newsletter, because then you'll be the first to hear about it and you'll get the best discount. So we took the pictures for the Wildhorse cardigan, and also the next one I'm going to show you, this last Friday, a few days ago, and we went up Wildhorse Canyon, which is where this sweater got its name, so I obviously had to take the pictures in Wildhorse Canyon, since I named the sweater after it. And it was absolutely gorgeous. All of the willows were golden. The aspens weren't quite all yellow. They were mostly green. I'm kind of getting bright and dark. I'm sorry, guys. The willows were all golden. The aspens were not quite all golden, but it was just stunning. Absolutely stunning. The colors were beautiful. The sky was blue. It was sunny. It was warm. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. We took some gorgeous pictures. My husband takes the pictures of me, and he has been getting so good. Back when he started taking pictures for me, he was not very good. he was not very good at all. And I would be like, I think I'll just take my tripod. My sister Janelle has taken some pictures for me too, but she's 4 hours away, so she can't do all of them. But for a while there was like, maybe I'll just take my tripod. But he's been getting so good. All this practice has been good for him, because with anything, you just learn it through practice. So he's been getting really good, and some of the pictures are, well, some of the pictures I look really ridiculous in because I'm not the best model, but a lot of the pictures that he took are just absolutely stunning, and I cannot wait to share them with you all. If you follow me on Instagram, that's where you'll see them first. I'm at Jessica M Knits on Instagram. That's where I will show them first. They're all just on my camera card right now. They're stunning, stunning pictures. Beautiful pictures of the sweater, beautiful pictures of the mountains, just beautiful pictures, beautiful pictures. Absolutely gorgeous. Plus it was a really fun day. It was warm, and we found a really nice spot by Wildhorse Creek, and the kids were playing and just walking across the creek and getting soaking wet. And Aiden, he tried to fill in that creek. He just stood there and threw rocks into the creek for probably 4 hours straight, just standing there, just throwing rock after rock after rock. I could not believe it, how long he just stood there and threw rocks. He didn't really go into the water and play in the water, which I expected him to just run straight into the creek because he's a 2-year-old. He just stood on the edge and threw rocks for hours, which I was happy for him to stay dry. Now the sun has gone behind a cloud. It will probably go away. I'll be moody for a minute. Anyway, I was happy for him to stay dry because it wasn't a super duper warm day. It was probably low 70s, but yeah, it was a really fun day. We had a fantastic time. We had a little fire and roasted hot dogs and had s'mores and hot chocolate, and it was just a beautiful day. I really love the mountains. I really, really do. It's my favorite place to be. So anyway, that was the photo shoot day. If you follow me on Instagram, once again, I'm plugging my Instagram account here, but I put together a reel this last weekend showing some sneak peeks of the photo shoot, and you can see some video of my kids playing in the creek and me in a sweater. So if you want to see a sneak peek of the photo shoot, you can just go over to my Instagram account and look at that reel. So anyway, maybe that was enough spiel about this sweater. So this top I'm wearing underneath is from Not Perfect Linen. It is the Vienna top in the colorway cream. It looks really good with this sweater, just the simple sweater and the simple top. It is a fantastic outfit. So if you're a Not Perfect Linen fan, that's what this is. And then this necklace is from Betsy Farmer Designs. She's also in the knitting world, but she makes jewelry. She has a little jewelry design business. Betsy Farmer Designs. That's where I got this. It just has all the initials of my kids on it. I got it after Aiden was born, so it's almost a couple years old now, but it's my favorite necklace. So that's the Wildhorse cardigan. And now that I've blathered on about other things for long enough, let's talk about the next sweater. I'll show the next one off too. This is Riverlands. So I asked for name suggestions on Instagram. I'm on Instagram every day. It's kind of a bad thing, but anyway. And so many people talked about rivers, how the cables made them think of rivers, and then somebody else suggested Riverlands, and so that was perfect. This is Riverlands. And it is all done. It is a bottom up, so you start at the bottom. It's got a split hem. You start with a split hem. Sorry if I'm a bit blown out. You start with a split hem. I've also included instructions in the pattern for if you do not want to make a split hem, just a regular traditional hem instead of a split hem. And then you knit in the round to the underarm, and then you knit back and forth through the yoke. You do some neck shaping front and back, and then there's The shoulders are just square. I didn't do any short row shaping in the shoulders because I just wanted this to be a little more an easy knit. I wanted this to be an easy knit, and I thought if I put German short rows in the collar, people would find that too intimidating, so I left them out. And then it's got a lovely folded collar. It's focusing on my face. It's lovely folded over collar. The same way I made the collar with birch, stockinette sleeve, a folded cuff. I just really like the folded cuff with the folded neckline look. And we'll put this one on so you can see it too. This one is knit in Ampersand Fibers. So Jess of Shop La Mercerie, she is an online yarn store. She runs it out of her house. She decided to make her own yarn base and her own yarn line, I guess. And it's called Ampersand Fibers. And it is American Cordell wool, and it is spun in the United States. And the only place you can get it is from her shop, Ampersand Fibers, or her shop, Shop La Mercerie, and the yarn is called Ampersand Fibers. This is the DK weight one called Jensen DK. There's also a fingering weight version of it, and this is the darkest shade of green. It's called a Shield 3, so each color has a name. So the reds all are named one thing, and the greens are all named one thing, and there's 1, 2, 3. 1 is the lightest shade, 2 is the medium shade, 3 is the darkest shade. So this is the darkest shade of green, which I love green, so I love this color. It's beautiful. And this yarn is perfect for cables, perfect for texture, just absolutely perfect for it. I meant for this to be a boxy fit, but I think I should have made one size larger. I made the second size, so I have about 5.5 inches of positive ease here. And you can see it fits loosely, but it's not like a oversized fit. So I kind of wanted it to be oversized, so I do kind of wish that I had gone up one more size even from this. But I generally don't make oversized garments, so...
Mommy?
Yes, baby.
Can I have a nut that you have to open the shells with?
We don't have any pistachios.
Then can I have the other kinds of nuts?
I'm gonna have to go get somebody a snack. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Fed the gremlins. Okay, so I was talking about the amount of ease I chose for the sweater, I think. I chose a size that gives me about 5.5 inches of positive ease. And generally I knit my sweaters with about 2 to 3 inches of positive ease, just like a nice classic fit. And I thought 5 inches will be quite big. It'll be nice and loose and sweatshirt-y. It's kind of what I was going for. It's an oversized fit, but you can see that it has almost, it's basically a classic fit. It fits pretty closely. You can see that. It does have positive ease, but not as much as I imagined it would be, because I imagined that 5 inches would be a lot. And it would be, you know how you see people wearing kind of a little bit baggy sweaters? I thought that's what 5 inches would give me, and I was way off. Way off. So I do wish I made this one size larger. I wish I had more in the 8 to 10 inches of positive ease range, which just sounded insane to me when I started this sweater. I was like, 10 inches of positive ease, it's just way too much. It would be like absolutely enormous. I'll look like I'm wearing a tent. But now I'm like, yeah, I think that would be nice. So next time I knit a sweater in this style, I'm going to go for more inches of positive ease. So this is about 5 inches, maybe 6 inches of positive ease, which isn't the amount of positive ease I wanted, but oh well. I really like how the heavily textured body is balanced by just plain stockinette sleeves. Plus, after knitting all of this texture, it's kind of nice to just sit down and knit stockinette in the round. I do like stockinette sleeves. I just like knitting them. I know most people don't like knitting sleeves, but I really enjoy knitting sleeves. They just go so fast, and I can, watch all the decreases and kind of keep track of my pace, and I just really like knitting sleeves. So you'd think I'd be the perfect sock knitter, but that's not exactly the case. Anyway, I have a sock whip. I'll tell you about the socks when I get to the socks. But let me tell you a little bit more about this sweater, about Riverlands. So I wanted to have a really, really impactful cabled sweater that wasn't hard to knit. Because you know how you have those fancy, beautiful cabled sweaters, but they have like 6 pages of charts you have to keep track of and look through. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to babysit a bunch of charts. I didn't want to be cabling every 4 rows. I wanted something that was really cabled and textured, but also really easy to knit. And so I designed it. So you can see the cables, all 4 of the cables, and this is repeated on the back. It's all cabled on the back too. All 4 of the cables are exactly the same, and then it's double moss stitch. I've been calling it block stitch, but I think that's incorrect. I think it's actually double moss stitch. Double moss stitch in between all of them, so it's all the same background texture and all the same cables, so you could knit the sweater with just 1 page in front of it. So there are charts over 2 pages because I put the double moss stitch chart and the chart for the side cable on 1 page, and then there wasn't enough room for the last one, so the chart for the center cable is on a different page, but the center cable is just 2 side-by-side repeats of the side cable. So you can just look at the 1 sheet of paper that has a cable chart and the double moss stitch chart, and use that to knit your whole sweater easily enough. So anyway, that's what it is. Cross those cables every 12 rows. Every cross is the same one in that row. There's only 2 different crosses. One is to the left, one is to the right. So it's pretty simple, straightforward, and easy to knit. So you can knit yourself an amazing cabled sweater, 1 page, not a whole bunch of charts to babysit, not a lot of fussy stuff to deal with, and it looks amazing. I'm gonna turn sideways so you can see the texture a little bit better. It just pops so well. This yarn is just perfect for cables. The stitch definition is amazing, and the squish is amazing, and it's just perfect for cables. Just perfect for texture. It's not baby soft. It is a little bit more of a crunchy yarn. That's not quite the word I'm going for. It's not super soft. Like Wildhorse is made out of Rambouillet. It's super soft. This is made out of Corriedale. There's a lot more spring and crispness to the fiber, so it's better for cables, but it's not as soft, but I still don't find it to be itchy. So that's my review of the yarn. I will put links to all of this yarn down below as well, so if you want to find this yarn, there will be links in the description box below. I'm really enjoying, so these 2 sweaters use yarn from small women-owned companies. This yarn is grown, milled, and dyed in the United States. This Knotty Pine Fiber Co yarn comes from Wyoming, and the whole thing comes from Wyoming. And I think it is the most local yarn to me that I know of here in Idaho, because Wyoming is right next door to Idaho. I'm not sure where the Corriedale is grown, and it's spun back east, but Jess lives over on the west coast, so it's still in the same country. I really enjoy supporting the small women-owned companies with completely American-made yarn, it's just something that makes me really, really happy to do. So yeah, I'll put links to the yarn down below so that you can go and get your own yarn. Now oh wait, this one's coming out in November too. I should probably tell you that. This one is going to be released in November as well. And this one's going to come out on November 18th. So Wildhorse will come out on November 1st, this one, and then Riverlands will be released on November 18th. So November will be a busy month for me. So sign up for my newsletter. Now let's talk about whips. So I think I'll talk to you about my sock next. I started school on the first day of September. It was a Wednesday, but I started school anyway. We homeschool, by the way, in case you didn't know. So I homeschool my kids, and I do not want to start school in August. I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. So come September 1st, I didn't have anything to knit, but I had bought Ruth of Raincloud and Sage. I had bought her sock ebook when it came out in the spring. It was in the spring that it came out. And I also bought a kit of her yarn. So this is Raincloud and Sage yarn. I'm pretty sure it's called Nord. But yes, Nord. It is 100% wool, sourced in Germany, 70% merino, 30% a name that I will entirely butcher. Ostfriesisches Milchschiff? Yeah, I'm not German. Or you can look at the label, because there's no way I can say that. Absolutely no way I can say that name. There. Hopefully that gave you enough time to read it. But this is the first time I've worked with her yarn. I've followed her for ages, and I've wanted to work with her yarn for a long time. What she does is she finds wool that would have otherwise just been burned or been thrown away, that's local to her, and she turns it into yarn. She started out doing just wool that is right around her. But since then, she's expanded to wool that is grown in Germany, which I think that's local enough for me. Germany is not very big, coming from an American. Sorry. So I've been wanting to use her yarn for a long time, and so I finally decided I would just buy her sock kit because it's super cute, and her ebook, which I really enjoyed her ebook. I'm trying to learn a lot about socks. I don't really knit socks, and I'd really like to. I am so jealous of everybody's beautiful box of socks, and you know, they're so cozy and warm, and they look so pretty, and here I am in ugly slippers, and I just want some really, really beautiful cozy socks. So I bought her sock ebook because she talked about knitting socks without any plastic in them, which if you buy most sock yarns, they have some nylon or polyamide in them, which is plastic. And I really prefer to do it without plastic because I'm making serious effort to reduce the amount of plastic that I have in my daily life and that I consume and that I use. So I would really like to make socks that don't have any plastic in them, which I know that they won't last as long, probably, but I'm willing to make that trade-off. So anyway, her sock ebook talked a lot about knitting socks with just natural yarn and no plastic in them. So back to the original storyline. September 1st was rolling around and I had nothing to knit that was just mindless for the first day of school. I homeschool. Homeschooling requires an insane amount of patience, and the best way to get some patience is to knit while you're waiting for your child to take forever to do some very simple math or whatever they're doing. So I needed something to knit, and so I wound up this yarn the last day of August and printed out the pattern and cast on the morning of September 1st. So these are my socks. It's very simple knitting. It's just stockinette, and then you have these stripes of different colors. The kit included the colors. So yeah, it's very simple knitting. So this colorway is Cabin. The main colorway is Cabin, and then I'm pretty sure the white is undyed, but I'm not entirely sure. And then this one I believe is called Stone Fruit. It's a pink. It's not a very girly pink. It's kind of got a little bit of dustiness and coraliness to it. You can see. It's a really lovely pink. I do not like pink. I'm not a pink person. I don't like pink. But I think this is a nice pink, and when you put it together with the main color and with the white stripes, it looks really good. I think it looks really amazing. So I'm going with this color. Plus I like this Cabin. It's a colorway. It's a really nice warm brown, a nice toasty color. So I've been really enjoying knitting these socks. But can you see that? Can you see that it's fatter over here and skinnier over here? I think my gauge changed, you guys. You can really see really well if you fold it in half. The blinds are kind of banging because it's, maybe you can see, oh, maybe you can't see on the camera. But yeah, if you fold it over, you can see behind the top part is wider than the bottom part. So maybe it'll stop. I don't know if that's annoying or not. I'll just open them. And then be very bright again. Maybe we can find a happy medium. So I started these socks on my Chiago needles. This is a size 1 needle, and I think I knit past the, so it's an afterthought heel or forethought heel, whatever it's called, but here's my line of waistline for the heel, and I changed needles about here. So this bit was knit with my Chiago size 1 needles, and it was just an absolute nightmare. Size 1 needles are really, really tiny. I have really big hands. Plus the Chiago needles, my Chiago size 1s, I think everybody's size 1 needles are bent, and they flex as I knit with them. So knitting with fingering weight yarn on size 1 needles that were flexing as I knit with them was not fun at all. My hands would hurt. I was gripping on for dear life, and it was just like a wrestling match. It was just not fun at all. I was not enjoying it. And then about here, I switched to these needles. So I needed a new pair of size 1 needles to knit with. So I got these. These are from Dyak Crafts. They are knitting needles that are made in the United States. They live somewhere back east. I want to say Vermont. But I don't know if that's accurate. But these are solid metal. So these are just size 1 needle, but they're solid metal because the Chiagos are hollow. I think I still have them in here. Oh, actually I was knitting on my Addy Turbo lace. Most of my needles these days are Chiago, but I still have some of these that are old. I wanted a new pair of size 1s because the cable on this is really stiff. These are the Addy Turbos, as it turns out, not Chiago. The cable is really stiff because it's old. These are probably 6 years old, and they're all bent. And so I decided to get new needles from Dyak Crafts, which was suggested to me by one of my lovely Instagram followers. And so I said, all right, if I need new needles, I'll buy a pair from them. So I looked at their needles. I think they're called heavy metal. They have 3 different kinds, or maybe they're the Northern Lights. So one of their series of needles is size 4 and up, and then the other series of needles is their small ones, like size 0 to 3 or 4. So yeah, that's what I bought. and they're solid. They're solid metal, so they don't bend when I'm knitting with them. They don't flex when I'm knitting with them. And there has been a remarkable difference between the first half of the sock, the second half of the sock. Now I can just knit. Like, I'm not fighting with my needles. I can just relax and knit. And apparently my tension has gotten tighter as I've knit with these ones. I don't know why. But it's a lot easier on my hands. It's a lot more pleasant. It's a lot more gentle. And these needles are so much nicer. Just the fact that they don't bend and flex is amazing. They don't make super pointy needles. I typically like the lace style needle because I really like a really pointy tip. These ones are not lace, but it hasn't bothered me at all. They're not as pointy as a lace needle, but it hasn't bothered me at all. I think they're quite easy to knit with. They're interchangeable needles. Their cable is really flexible. It's a middle cable that's coated in a clear plastic. It's super flexible. Look at this. You just twist it around. No trouble at all. This is super flexible. So these are really nice needles. I would have bought some in my more usual sizes. I typically use size 4 to 7 most of the time, but they were all sold out. So I only bought a size 1 needle. But if you need new knitting needles, you should go check them out because these are really, really nice needles. I'm really enjoying working with them. And they're made in America, not China, which is a huge, huge pro for me. So that's what I'm knitting this sock on. This is the first sock. I'm kind of wondering if my change in gauge will matter at all. It's a sock, so I don't know. If it doesn't work out, I guess I can rip it out and redo it. But anyway, there's my sock whip. That's what I'm working on. My camera battery is about to die, so I'm going to stop and replace it, and then I'll chat some more. Alright, I'm back with a brand new battery. So I'm planning to design some socks. I have really bad second sock syndrome. I have at least 2 pairs, at least 2 half pairs, I think 3 half pairs of socks stashed away that I knit the first sock and then just didn't want to knit the second one. So I'm going to design some socks. I have yarn left over from my sweaters, and I'd really like to design some socks that are kind of based off of my sweaters and use up the leftover yarn, because I'd like to use up the leftover yarn, find a nice home for it. It's somebody I like to watch her podcast, Heather and Hops. She calls them happy little bits that are waiting, and I think that's a really, really nice way to refer to leftovers. So I've got a whole bunch of happy little bits that are waiting that I'd like to turn into socks based off of my sweaters. There is a swatch drying right behind the camera, a swatch for socks based off of Riverlands, drying right there. So I think I'm going to start there, and I'm really hoping that if I'm designing the socks, that I don't quit after the first one. I've got to knit 2 of them for the pictures at least, right? So I'm really hoping that that helps cure my second sock syndrome, because I really, really would love to have a collection of hand knit socks. And yeah, my feet get cold. I want them to be warm. I want them to be beautiful. And what could go wrong with that, right? So I'm hoping over the course of this fall, like October, November, December, that I can do at least 2, but possibly 3 sock patterns. 1 a month. That's not too unreasonable, is it? But we'll see how that goes, because I also have other really big knitting plans for the 3rd quarter or 4th quarter of this year. So anyway, we'll see if it happens. I have the yarn, I have the design idea already fully formed in my mind. I just have to do it. And so keep me accountable, YouTube. Keep me accountable. Make me design my socks and knit them. They're all DK weight and worsted weight yarns, so they'll be nice cozy socks. I live someplace really, really cold. It's really cold here. We had our first snow, not last night, but the previous night. It has already frozen a number of times. It's really cold here, okay? And then we keep our house at 67 degrees in the winter. So that's nice and chilly as well. So I need some cozy socks. So I'm gonna work on that. There's my sock stories. Now I'm gonna tell you about my other whip. I've decided that I'm not gonna show off too much detail about this one. This is being knit for Quince Co for one of their collections next summer. I'm not sure when exactly it will come out, but it's at least going to be 6 months, probably more like 8 or 9 months before it comes out. So I want to be a little more secretive about it. Once it's done, I think I will film a small video segment, an FO segment of just this design, and then just save it until when this pattern comes out next year, and then I can put that in the podcast when it's released, and then you can see it in all its glorious detail. But since it's going to be so long until it comes out, I'd like to just be a little more secretive about it. There are a lot of people who steal other people's ideas, and I mean, with something that's coming out in 2 months, they don't really have time to steal that idea. But something that's coming out in 9 months, somebody could steal that idea. Anyway, so I'm going to be a little bit secretive about this. This is knit in Quince Co Kestral, which is a linen yarn. It is an Aran weight linen yarn, so it goes really fast, really fast. I have been knitting on this for about 2.5 weeks now, and I am on to, I'll show you right at the bottom of the screen. That's the right front. Yeah, that's the right front. This is the right front. I've got to knit the left front. The right front's about halfway done, well, more than halfway done, probably. Yeah, probably more than 3/4 even. 5/7. It's about 5 inches long. I think I have to go to about 7 inches. 5/7, and then I've got to do the other front, and then I've got to do the back. It's a tank top, so there's no sleeves. So once I've done the fronts and the back, I can just join them all together at the shoulder, and then I'm going to do some finishing around the arms and the neck, and then it will be done. So I'm planning to have it done by the end of this week, which will be nice because this is on a deadline. I get a little stressed out with deadline knitting. So this is Quince Co Kestral. It's in the color Senza, which is a really nice, warm, neutral color. I'd like to say it's kind of like an oyster color. It's mostly just a light oatmeal tan color, but it's got a bit of a rosy undertone to it, honestly. So anyway, it's a beautiful, warm, neutral color. Warm, I mean the color is warm, not the knit. The knit is going to be nice and cool because it's linen yarn, but it's really, really nice. I'm really enjoying knitting with it. It's Aran weight, so I'm using size 9 needles. It's just going super fast. This is a chainette style yarn, so it's like a big long braid. My face is in there, so it doesn't want to focus on the yarn. It's a chainette style yarn. It doesn't have a lot of flex to it, but I have found that since it's a heavier weight, it's a lot easier to knit with because it's just a lot easier to tension as I'm knitting. When I knit Waiethia with the fingering weight yarn, it was really difficult to tension and my hands would get really tired because it was just so thin and slippery. But this one is not thin, and it really isn't very slippery either. I think that since it's braided, it's kind of got a little bit of texture to it instead of being perfectly smooth. So that helps too. So I've been finding that I can knit on this without my hands getting tired at all. So this is Quince Co Kestral. It's beautiful, beautiful linen yarn. So that's what this is. The theme of this collection is restful. So it's going to be a very relaxing, calm thing to knit. And it's beautiful too. You guys are gonna love it. But I'm not gonna show you anymore. You'll have to just wait till next summer. We'll put it away now. So I think that's everything. That's everything I was going to, all my knits to show you, but I do want to give you an update on something else. So if you've been following me for a while, I've been talking about my book, Woodland Ramble, since January. I've been working on it since literally January. And I decided on a printer that did print on demand, and I thought that would be better. I can get it quicker. I don't have to have a whole bunch of stock on hand. I can just buy a few hundred books at a time, or maybe even just like 100 books at a time, no big deal. But the print quality was just atrocious, absolutely atrocious. It looked worse than if I had just printed it on my home printer. It was bad, the quality was really bad. So I looked for a better printer and I decided I would do offset printing, and I went with a company that had been recommended to me by another person who prints books. So I have given them the go-ahead to print my books today. The proofs came, the pictures are beautiful. I think it's going to be an absolutely stunning book. The thing that I really, really wanted to make sure looked good was all of the pictures. The pictures have to look good, right? So the pictures do look absolutely stunning, and the proofs that they sent me, so I gave them the go-ahead today. I don't know when I'll get the books. I don't know when. When I was talking to them earlier, they said it was a production time of about 3 to 4 weeks. So I don't know if that's still the case. They're supposed to give me a update of when it will be available soon, in the next few days, hopefully. So that will be exciting, because I have been trying to write this book for a year, so to have it being printed, hopefully right now, will be, it's just fantastic. Now I have to figure out my shipping, all my shipping stuff. So I'm going to ship entirely plastic free. That's another thing that I care about. So I've got craft paper mailers that I'm going to use. I got a stamp with my logo to use so that I don't use plastic stickers. The label is probably going to, like the shipping label is probably going to have some plastic in it, but there are no other options there. I need to figure out how to sell a physical product. Everything I've sold so far has been digital, so you buy it and then instantly it's just automatically delivered to you and you download it. So now I've got to figure out the details of selling a book to you all. So, but I'm very excited, very, very excited. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, Woodland Ramble is a collection of patterns for children. There are 7 patterns, 4 sweaters, and 3 accessories. The accessories have adult sizes too, that are all inspired by the forest, and it's what I spent the first 6 months of this year knitting. So if you've been around for a while, you probably know what I'm talking about. You're probably like, hurry up and release it, hurry up. I'm working on it, I'm working on it. Another thing that I'm going to do this fall, and that might get in the way of my sock knitting plans, is I'm going to do the patterns for the grown-up version of all of the Woodland Ramble designs, which have been frequently requested, and so I'm going to do that. So next fall, hopefully this time next year, I will already have the book ready to go. So next fall I'll release the adult sized collection of all of it. So anyway, there is an update for my book. if any of you were wondering where on earth it was. Hopefully it will be here soon. Make sure you sign up for my newsletter because that's where I will tell you all about it. Yeah. Sign up for my newsletter. The link will be in the description box below. And I think that's everything I had to say. I do get a little bit wordy when I start talking about knitting, and I can just ramble on and on forever. But now I need to go. I need to kick my children outside because it's a beautiful day, and I need to put all my pumpkins away. I need to clean out my pantry so I have somewhere I can put all my stuff I picked yesterday out of my garden and then put it away. So I'm gonna be busy this afternoon. Alright, you guys. I'm going to stop talking about knitting. I hope you all have had a wonderful time listening to me talk about knitting. And I hope I will see you next time I film a podcast. Oh, I have filmed a tutorial this weekend on how to darn your sweater elbows. So if your elbows are getting thin, I've filmed a tutorial on how to take care of that. So subscribe to my channel so that when I upload that video you can see that as well, because I'll probably upload this tonight and then the tutorial a different night. I have to upload them overnight because uploading videos to YouTube takes so much internet that I have to do it at night. Anyway, now I am just really rambling. Please subscribe to my channel and sign up for my newsletter, and I will talk to you all next time I film a podcast or next time I'm back. Thank you all so much for being here, and I will talk to you later. Bye.